Babylon has gotten mixed reviews, and I get it, it's different and it has a runtime of 3 hours, but I personally, as you could guess, loved it. Damien Chazelle went for it in this movie. Much like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, people complained that it glorified sex, drugs, and gore. Some reviews said, overindulgence does not make a good movie. At least an hour too long. Gave up. A big, bloated, shapeless mess filled with lazy caricatures. Or my personal favorite, no, not a good movie. Everyone's allowed to their own opinion. I mean, that's life.
That's life.
But I think they're missing the point. Actually, I take that back. The reviews hit it right on its head.
What the fuck are you talking about?
I believe Damien Chazelle was trying to accomplish exactly what they said they don't like about this movie. See, I think this movie is much deeper than what we, the audience, take in on our first viewing. Overindulgence is the name of the game. The characters are supposed to be caricatures, and to a degree, it is a chaotic mess. These are all themes of the movie. We could argue Brad Pitt's character Jack Conrad is a caricature of a classic movie star. Margot Robbie, or Nellie, is overindulgent, and Manny is a representation of the point of view of the audience. How we're thrown into this chaotic world of motion pictures with Manny. The movie definitely has a shape. It's not your typical movie where it cuts all the fat so you're on the edge of your seat every frame of the movie. Damien does something different, like older movies. He has scenes in there where he lets it breathe, lets the audience catch up, take a break from all the big parties, sex, blood, and gore. He gives us hills and valleys, changes the tempo much like a great jazz song or a guitar solo. The build, the rise, and the fall.
It's the end of the road for me.
When people say he glorifies sex, drugs, and gore in this movie, I'd personally have to disagree. I think he shows us the grandness of old Hollywood parties, the ridiculousness of how outlandish it is. The movie doesn't really end on a happy note. Brad Pitt ends up unaliving himself, Margot dies at 34, and Manny flees LA to only come back many years later. I think Mr. Chazelle is taking us on a journey through hell. He opens with this glamorous party, how chaotic and exciting it is. A fucking elephant comes through. Just in this opening scene alone, we see all 7.
What's in the box?
Whoa, no. Let me finish. We see all 7 deadly sins in this grandeur party. Lust, gluttony, greed, sloth, wrath, envy, and pride. He introduces us to their ordinary world of the silent era. As we march on through the movie, it just gets worse. Be careful what you wish for because it might come true. It's all happy. Margot becomes a star, Manny becomes a studio executive, Sydney gets to be starring in motion pictures, Brad Pitt continues on as a rising mega star. But the reality of achieving your dreams start to creep in. What they have to sacrifice to get their dreams. Brad's failed marriages, Sydney putting his pride aside to film, Margot's underlying problems don't magically go away as she rises as a star, Manny having problem after problem throwing at him, trying to keep everything in balance. There is and never will be a balance with these people. The exciting chaos we see in the beginning quickly changes to a dark, unavoidable chaos. We have the shift halfway through the movie. Brad's career starts to descend. He tries gasping for air as his failing career drowns him. Margot's gambling problem closes in on her. Sydney can't stand the way the movie world is and how it perceives him. Manny tries everything to fix Margot's crumbling world, and he tries everything in his power to help the love of his life, Nellie, and getting her back on track, creating a new look for her, which blows up in his face, and paying off her gambling debt unknowingly with prop money.
Where was I gonna get 85 grand in 2 days?
And yes, these characters are caricatures, but that's how every movie is. We just choose to ignore it if the movie is good or bad. I mean, every rom-com has this basic formula of person A chasing person B for love. With this movie, the formula is the hero's journey, and Manny is our hero for this movie. There are 3 parts to the hero's journey. The departure, where the hero doesn't accept the call to adventure presented to him, eventually saying yes and going out of his ordinary world into the new, interesting world. Initiation, the trial, quest, and descent into the underworld. And then the return with the elixir. Manny doesn't want to do coke when Nellie offers it to him. The refusal to the call. She pushes him and he accepts. Not only is he accepting the drug, but he's also accepting this journey that Margot in the movie business will take him on. Initiation. The quest later comes trying to pay off Nellie's debt. The trial of it is turning out to be prop money and then descending into hell of the party Toby brings them to.
Welcome to the asshole
of Los Angeles.
And then Death, where the hitman spares his life, having him leave LA. The Return. Years later, Manny comes back to LA with his elixir, which is his family and his life. Older, different, and reminiscing on his younger years. Damien Chazelle does something different. Instead of having a hero succeed in everything working out, an example is Star Wars, Damien has his hero fail. He doesn't win the girl. He doesn't come back in triumph and glory. Instead, he comes back run down, aged, and crying at what his life used to be. How Singing in the Rain is a view into a parallel world of what the possibility of what his life could have been if it worked out and succeeded. The reality of the real world is Jack Carson isn't happy with his dwindling career.
There'll be 100 more Jack Conrads, 100 more me's, 100 more conversations just like this one over and over again until God knows when. Because it's bigger than you.
I'm tired, Faye.
And decides to kill himself rather than face not being a movie star. Nellie dies at 34, chasing that crazy high of excitement, but it's just an echo of how wild and amazing her life used to be.
I'm at peace with that.
¿Qué chingados estás diciendo?
I'm not mad anymore, Manny.
Sidney goes back to his roots playing live jazz and leaves the movie machine. He plays a song his younger self used to play, an idea of what his younger days were, hopeful and full of glee. Manny comes back to LA as a shadow of what his dream was.
Bigger than this. Oh no, bigger than my life. Bigger, better, important. Something important. To be part of something important, something that lasts, that means something. Love watching movies, you know, like
love watching
sit
movies
there,
too.
and you're watching the movie and you can
escape.
It's something even more important than life.
All these characters got their dreams, but everything good and everything bad must come to an end. And most people can't cope with the idea of the end coming. So yes, this movie was overindulgent, shapeless to a degree, chaotic, glamorous, and glorifying. But it also showed the underbelly of those ideas, contrast of achieving everything you ever wanted. And I understand why it got mixed reviews. It's a long, windy, chaotic movie, but I think that's its charm, the point of it. Only getting 2.8 stars or 56 on Rotten Tomatoes. But as someone wise once said, if you make something and people don't love it or hate it, then you're doing something wrong. Thanks for watching.